Right.
Right?
Thanks for having me down here.
Have you here? It's The Romantic Adventures of Harry. That was released first in 1994.
Right.
And now it's being re-released.
Well, it was released in 95, so it's 2 years old right now.
Okay. Well, it's certainly a lot of fun, and it's great to have you here.
Thank you.
We were just talking about before we opened our mics, as a matter of fact, how great San Diego is. You've been playing here since 1976, you said?
Well, 76 is when my family moved to San Diego from London.
Mm-hmm.
And but it was like in the 1985 is when I started to play out and around town.
You studied classical music when you were in London, and so you've been playing for a long, long time.
Yeah, my mother had a lot to do with that music into me as a very small child.
Mm-hmm.
And now I thank her for it. But classical music, I just wanted to sing like Freddie Mercury and Queen. And big super
You always
band.
wanted to be a rock and roll star,
Yep.
huh?
So my dream's coming true finally.
We've talked to a lot of local artists, from Candy Kane to from Jaime Valle. We're going to have, as a matter of fact, Cindy Lee Berryhill in next week. And it's really interesting to talk to local people that really love San Diego, because this is the destination.
Right.
It's not like, this is a springboard to where you want to go, or you've got eyes on L.A., although I know that you've played up there.
Sure.
This is where you want to be. What's so great about San Diego and its music scene?
And the music scene it seems to be wide open. There isn't like a sound. There's a lot of different singer-songwriters out there playing. And I've been around the town, around America, traveling with a band I was in called the Rugburns. So I got to see a lot of different cities, and I don't know, it's something about the climate, and then, the proximity, from Mexico. I love going down to Mexico. I love going up to Los Angeles or the beach and the mountains. So it feels right for me,
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. But I think there also is a real strong loyalty factor among San Diegans and their homegrown music.
Right.
I think San Diegans, once they really latch onto somebody, they can keep them busy for a long time.
True, Barbara.
Isn't that neat? I think that's such a neat aspect of this town.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it. Your roots being in London, you never had that kind of Beatles feel. You never really got involved with that whole scene?
It's really strange. Can I tell you a story?
Please.
About the Beatles, since you brought it up? My mother was in a band. She was a singer for this all-girl band in the 60s called the Beat Chicks. And they had a couple 45s out in London.
I remember that name.
You remember the Beat Chicks?
Yeah.
They had All of You was one of their songs. My mom was the singer.
Wow.
And they opened for the Beatles in 65 in Madrid. And I was 2.5 years old, and my mom used to leave me with my grandparents while they went out on the road. But this trip they took me, and the afternoon they took an afternoon off to see a bullfight in Madrid, and I sat on Paul McCartney's lap.
No!
I thought it was kind of strange.
And you never washed those pants?
No, I never washed my underpants after that.
That is amazing.
But I never grew up listening to the Beatles as a teenager. I kind of found the Beatles much later on, just like Hank Williams, and a lot of the music that has, influenced me as a writer has come a lot later on.
Yeah, so it wasn't. You've got kind of a Buddy Holly kind of look to you.
Oh, thanks.
You really do. It's kind of a neat look. I was just noticing the Buddy Holly story is down at the Balboa right now, isn't it?
Great.
Have you seen it?
Mm-hmm.
And you thought that was great.
Awesome.
I'd love to see that show. But there are a lot of different influences that you have had. What were some of the big names that you really listened to? I know James Taylor was a big influence.
Yeah,
for you.
that's the one, isn't it? Yeah.
More than anybody else, you think?
Probably more than anybody else, because I was a veterinarian assistant in Fallbrook, and I was actually thinking about becoming a veterinarian, and I had really no idea that I was going to be a songwriter until a friend of mine turned me on to the early James Taylor, the Sweet Baby James, and the Mudslide Slim and the Blue Horizon, and I think that really turned a light on in me for wanting to pursue writing, and that was my inspiration.
You do a lot of storytelling, and that's sort of that. It lends itself to that folksy sort of James Taylor thing.
Right. And he's really, he's popular as ever now. You see him out on doing the VH1. He's got a new album out now. So it seems timeless.
Yeah. You have a very musical background in terms of your family. Your grandfather who brought you over here played a derivative of a bagpipe, I understand?
Yeah. Wow, you have a lot of info. That's cool.
Yeah.
He played the Irish pipes, which are called the Uilleann pipes. and he was a tournament champion piper in the 30s in Dublin. And he came to San Diego in like 1974, and nobody was really playing Irish music here in town. And he reformed a band that he had very popular in Ireland called the Seamus the Gale Cayley Band. They played a lot of jigs and reels and upbeat Irish music and some ballads. And he reformed it here in San Diego. And then he passed away in 87, and the band still occasionally plays out, the Seamus the Gale Cayley Band.
Well, so where does that put Dad? Mom was a singer. Grandpa played the Irish pipes.
And my father was played in nightclubs. He just sang Glenn Campbell songs and
Did he really?
Jimmy Buffett songs.
Well, I guess it was inevitable then.
That's what I'm thinking. I couldn't have gotten around it, you know. So much for being a veterinarian.
I was going to say, don't you wish you had been doing music while you were taking care of dogs and cats?
I know. I still got the zoological membership to the zoo, so I go there a lot. I'm kind of satisfied.
When you were up there, when you were in Fallbrook, though, you were playing with another group. It was before the Rug Burns, and what was it? It was a bizarre name.
Yeah, it was Baba Yaga, which is Baba Yaga was a Russian witch, like a folklore, kind of like a Hansel and Gretel thing. And the two other guys in the band were from Czechoslovakia. So I brought the name to the band. We were looking for a name, you know.
You came up with that?
I came up with the name as a joke because I knew that, you know, Russia and Czechoslovakia, and they loved it. It was really weird. So that was kind of like an 80s Cure wannabe, U2 wannabe band.
Oh, I heard that it was kind of a cross between Pink Floyd and Roy Rogers. Weren't you quoted as saying that? Didn't you say that once?
I just said we played really slow speed metal, but I didn't think of Roy Rogers. That was very funny.
Well, play us a little bit going into the break here. We're going to take a break, but I want to hear just a little bit of you picking on your guitar as we go into it, okay?
Okay.
Play us a little something here.
I'll put a little capo on here. 600 KOGO. Barbara Whiteside with you, and we're talking with Gregory Page, who is a local musician and has been doing great. You're at Java Joe's every Thursday night? Right.
And that has really been a growing crowd, right?
Yeah. We've been doing a residency there on every Thursday for about 2 months. And it's a lot of fun. Every Thursday do something different, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Try to top my last Thursday's show.
And you also are performing tonight, I understand.
Tonight at the Thomas Paine Gallery, which is right on the corner of El Cajon Boulevard and Park. When El Cajon Boulevard ends, Park, right on the corner there.
When?
And that's a $2 show or something. Come out, starts at about 9.
Well, now, this release, this CD that we've been listening to, some of the cuts from the Romantic Adventures of Harry, you're doing a lot of solo stuff on that, but you also work with a lot of groups. Tell us some of the groups that you've been working with here locally.
Locally, there's a band called Loam, and they've been around for about 2 years, and they're just an incredible local band. They're playing tonight at Brick by Brick, but the singer for Loam is a good friend of mine, Frank, and we have a side project of a band that we call the Hatchet Brothers, and we satisfy our muse of bluegrass and old-time music, and we kind of bring it with an 90s touch.
Yeah, don't do the 80s touch.
No more. We do bluegrass stuff on the mandolin and dulcimer and stuff. We also incorporate Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and some other. We kind of
that goes together.
Yeah, we're trying to use it.
It's kind of interesting. We were talking about this kind of leading into the show that artists really, particularly the ones I've talked, aren't that interested in going mainstream, if you will, or what's called mainstream. Truly, today we're seeing so much more alternative kind of music, and people want to be alternative, and they don't want to be pigeonholed. They're crossing all the different genres into different kinds of music.
Right.
And why do you think that is?
I think that this whole Nirvana thing is just, peaked, I think. And rock and roll is just hungry for something different. And a good song is a good song. I mean, I don't have any too many concrete thoughts on it, but I think that it's opening up with bands like the Jayhawks and Wilco, and kind of giving us this alternative country thing, and just with the Wallflowers now. So I think people are just kind of getting burned out on it. And when, San Diego, there was a time where a lot of the bands, the heavier rock and roll bands were getting signed, and just in droves, people were coming down and signing these bands. And I thought about it for a few weeks, about maybe picking up an electric guitar and staring down at my shoes and playing angry songs. But now you're seeing, more of the singer-songwriters being signed, and their songs and their albums being put out, and these rock bands being dropped from the labels, and they're looking for the next, whatever.
You're saying that rock and roll, traditionally, or at least in the last couple of decades, had a lot of anger attached to it. So do you see rock and roll as really kind of evolving and kind of like the nicer guys kind of music?
Oh, it's a scary thing to think about, because
is.
rock and roll is so disgusting, it's dirty, and that's why we love it.
It's like groveling and getting down in the dirt. And
right.
Do you consider yourself a rock and roller?
Well, you know what? I never would think of myself as a rock and roll musician at all, especially with the Romantic Adventures of Harry. But it feels, with this new record and my new song, since I left the Rugburns, which was, incredible 2 years experience of playing with a real rock and roll band, that I came away thinking, wow, well, maybe writing, in a rock and roll spirit isn't so bad if it's true to the words and your lyrics, And this new album, I think I mentioned to you that I've been recording, I feel a rock and roll spirit to it.
You're going to be, this one's going to be released, it's the Dwight Yoakam Band?
Well, a couple of the songs, 5 of the songs, I'm using his band on.
I think that's wonderful.
That sounds
what an
really
experience. Cool. How did you link up with them?
The producer that I was working with, Michael Vale Blum, put it together. So
called you up, said, "Hey, Gregory, you want to do something a little different?"
Well, yeah, kind of like that. The label kind of put us in touch with each other. But so yeah, I'm really excited about the way it's sounding.
What happened with the Rugburns? How did that whole thing come down? I mean, you just decided you'd finish doing that sort of stuff? What?
Yeah, well, I loved playing in that, in that band. It was such a great experience to travel and see, I mean, we got to open for the Ramones in Cleveland, and we really made a lot of noise for a San Diego band that started in Old Town as a duo.
Funny too.
Yeah, we dressed all plaid and skirts and stuff, but it was the songs. Ultimately, Steve's persona as a front man was, just magic. So, but after touring so much, and I knew that the touring wasn't gonna slow down, and I loved touring, but I was kind of getting the itch to write. I hadn't written maybe one song in about a year, and he kind of caught up to me, and he was, as being friends before I was in the Rugburns for years. But, what's that?
Who caught up with you, you say?
Oh, the niche of not writing kind of caught up to me. So
you decided you had to do it again. What do you do? I mean, you've got a book in front of you, and I wish you could see this, guys, because you're sitting here with what would even appear to be like a diary, one of those big books with blank pages, and you just write your thoughts on it. Well, he's been sketching out some ideas for songs. Obviously, for you, the words come first. Where's your inspiration come from as you write?
I guess they come from people, I think.
Really? As you meet people, there's things that come to your mind?
Constantly. I was in the hospital today when my girlfriend put her back out, so I was in the hospital. So I think that's why I was writing a lot today, because there's a lot of people at the hospital. Or at the airport. I just go out and hang out at the airport for an afternoon and spark up a conversation with somebody.
So what are you saying? You look at people, and I know a lot of people go to the airport just to look at
It's weird to say,
people. But I mean, you look at them and you try and when you theorize about what their lives are like, and then you just create a story.
I think that's it. Plus, I just came back from excuse me.
That's all right.
Arizona, and so I'm filled with inspiration from being out in the desert and hanging out in a very small town called Chloride, a population of about 100, and sitting in the little bar talking to these, people, these desert people that live out in the sticks, basically. I've come back and I've written about 3 songs since I've been home.
Really, and I would imagine you had the same kind of inspiration going to Mexico. Just putting yourself in a different venue, all of a sudden,
Right.
ideas start to pop. And then how do you add music to it? Just does it kind of come to you as you see the words?
Yeah, I think I'll just play something that sounds right to me or sounds fun to me. That I can't put down that I have to finish. It'll haunt me till it's arranged, and then I'll try to fit the words inside of it somehow.
You know, that may be why we were talking about so many artists today are all over the map. You know, they're playing a little bit of rockabilly. They're like Candy Cane, who was in, or playing a little bit of bluegrass, or a little bit of folk, a little bit of rock. All these different things is that our attention spans, like you said, are about 2-3 inches long. Exactly. Like, okay, I've got that down. Let's try something else.
Yeah, that's it.
And it works that way with your words too. One will lend itself to a certain kind of music, and then another one will be a nice, when Harry met Sally
kind of a thing.
feel.
Yep.
You like to write romantic songs?
I do. I've written some pretty sappy romantic songs. My sappiest I've written recently is this song called Walking in the Park. And it seems to be a favorite, and I know that they're going to be recording it in July, so I'm stoked about that.
Well, let's take a caller here. You need to put your headphones in there so we can hear them. Don't drop your guitar. We're going to be heading out to Victorville. A long ways away. Rudy, hi. You're on News Radio 600 KOGO.
Hey, Barbara. How are you and Greg doing?
We're doing fine.
Yeah. Sorry to say I was a hold-on from last hour, but I'm going with the flow.
Yeah, that's good. That's great.
I've been hearing your interview with Gregory.
Mm-hmm.
There's no relation, to Jimmy Page?
No, unfortunately.
That would have been nice, huh?
You might have been part of the band if you were, huh?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, I heard you tell Barbara that one of your influences was Queen.
Yeah.
And that's one of my groups that I listen to, and I dig them.
Oh, man.
And like all these, this invasion, I mean, you got a lot of great bands coming out of England. You got Led Zeppelin, like I mentioned, and you got The Who. You got who else am I on?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that he never really got that caught up in that, huh?
The Beatles, the Rolling Stones. I mean, a monster of bands coming out of England that are making it big here in the States,
Right.
And what my question was to you was, who were your American influences that influenced you, if there were any?
Yeah, there was a mainly the singer-songwriters, Joni Mitchell and the John Pryans. But as far as bands go, I like I like Stone Temple Pilots. I think that band's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And Pearl Jam, of course. Eddie Vedder's from right here in San Diego, and
yeah.
I used to play in a band and used to play shows with his band, which was called Bad Radio. And he was always a really cool guy. So I was a big Pearl Jam fan.
You must have been one of the guys in the background, not a lead vocal or none, because I never heard your name.
Right. No, I was always the bass player.
The bass player?
The guy
I wonder why they never give no mention of the background players, because they should.
They should, huh?
They should a lot, because
really?
they're part of the group, and they're all pitching in. Like without the bass player, there wouldn't be a band that would sound as good.
That's right.
There's some bass players cheering for you right now.
There
Rudy.
you go. Rudy's on your side. All right. As a matter of fact, if you've got some questions for Gregory Page, as a matter of fact, again, kind of a local guy, came here from London, England in 1976. Here are the numbers to call: 569-TALK, 569-8255, or 1-800-600-KOGO. 7:30 right now, and we're going to check what's happening in news and be right back with more Gregory Page.
Saturday night, I'm alone in my apartment, resting my head on my hand. Standing in the news and the loony cartoons, there ain't nothing on TV tonight. So I take a walk to Pete's liquor store, buy a bottle of King Cobra Ale, sat on the curb and drank down the nerve to talk to the girl on the corner who's for sale. said, honey, you look fine. Tonight will you be mine? I promise that I'll shave my face. Put your hand in my pocket and reach for my rocket and send my ass out into space.
Gregory Page. Yes, that's from the Romantic Adventures of Harry. That's the CD he has out. You hear him at Java Joe's every Thursday night, and we were just talking about how much fun that is. You have all kinds of people come up and just join you, huh?
Right. A full carnival show every Thursday.
But is that what makes Java Joe's fun, is that people kind of stroll in and they just kind of, hey, I got this fiddle, can I join in here?
That's it. Yeah. It's really a lot of fun. They have an open mic on Monday nights, so anybody that wants to get out there and play their couple songs, every Monday at Java Joe's, Wendy, who's a guy, has his open mic down there.
Wendy, who's a guy.
And
no, that's a song.
That is a song.
That's a song. Wendy, who's a guy. Let's go to the phones. Lakeside. Angela, hi, you're on News Radio 600 KOGO. Gregory Page is with me.
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering, Gregory, you totally rock, and I saw you last night, and you were great.
Oh, you were at the show last night, huh?
Yeah, I was in the front.
Right, I remember you.
I was wondering, when's your next album coming out, and what's it going to be called?
I don't know what it's going to be called, and I'm kind of open for suggestions if you have any. Somebody suggested When Life Hands You Lemons. I don't know. But I think it's going to come out in August or September.
And did you have any local influences?
Steve Poltz was a major, at the beginning when I first met Steve, and I was still playing James Taylor songs and Phil Collins songs and stuff like that. And, just watching him play his music was so inspiring in the beginning. And then, I met with Cindy Lee Berryhill many years ago, and so her and it's just the slew of others,
That's cool. You're mine and my friend's favorite musician.
Really?
Isn't that great?
Every night, I swear.
And what kind of music do you normally listen to, Angela?
Normally metal, but you're the mellowest thing that we all listen to, and you're our favorite.
That's wonderful.
Awesome. You got a really open mind, and that's going to carry you a long way in life.
Thanks for calling, Angela.
Yeah.
Bye, Angela.
Have you ever had Candy Cane or anybody like that come in and just want to just jam with you some night? Does that happen? Or
No.
Cindy Lee or anybody like that
Yes.
just kind of strolls by? So you never know what the mix is going to be.
You never know. I mean, last Monday night at the open mic of Java Joe's, Jewel came in and played a couple songs. So you just don't know who's in town and who will just come by and sing. It's pretty amazing.
Gosh, don't you love this place?
I do. I like San Diego. I got one foot in Los Angeles because, people up there don't usually take you seriously because you're from San Diego and, so I feel this pull of being up there. But when I'm up there for so much longer, my eyes start to burn and I start to get all crabby and sitting in traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me yearn to come back here.
And people have a lot of angst. Have you noticed that? They're a little angry.
They really are.
There's a reason for that. They live in L.A. and we live in San Diego.
But I like L.A. There's something about L.A.
There's
that's
energy to
really
it.
appealing to me.
There's a lot of energy to it.
And so if I do move, it wouldn't be permanent. It would just be to experience L.A.
Yeah, you could really come up with a lot of bizarre lyrics there.
Yeah.
Let's go to Ocean Beach. Mark, hi, you're on News Radio 600 KOGO with Gregory Page.
Hey, Gregory, this is Mark. I saw you last night. Great performance, by the way.
Thanks, Mark.
Second time I saw you. I've seen you. But I had a question. I actually play guitar myself and starting out. And I wanted to find out, what type of advice you've inspired me a little in these last couple of weeks as far as performing. What advice would you give to a guy that wants to get into the scene and get going?
I think that coming out on open mics are the best thing that you could do right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any songs that you've written?
Yeah, I do.
You have?
I've got quite a few.
And have you ever played out in front of people before?
Yeah, I've actually played at Java Joe's a few times.
Right.
But that's about it in this area.
Well, just keep coming out and doing the open mics, and if you can get a 4-track and James Taylor's album, Sweet Baby James, those two things, and you're on your way.
And jam with you perhaps some night down at Java Joe's.
Hey, do you play anything like the kazoo or
The kazoo? Oh, geez, I don't. What did I play?
The spoon? Anything will do.
Just come on down on Thursday.
Yep, next Thursday. I'll see you out there.
All right, Mark,
Thanks, Mark.
for calling in.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Well, now you've signed with Bizarre Planet Records, right?
Right.
Do you feel that now that you're signed, even though it is an indie, an independent label, that they're trying to kind of direct where you're going? Do you feel some of your creativity is being changed a little bit?
I think that's one of the great things about being on an indie is that you're like operating without a license in the sense of there's nobody really telling me what to do or how to dress or how to, you know, the album cover even I can pick, you know. I have a lot of freedom in that. Also, there's not a lot of money behind it either, so it's kind of both ways. But working with producers is a new experience, and yeah, I am kind of swayed a little bit by, you know, the almighty hit, the almighty single.
Well, that's what they're looking for, to put them on the map, and you almost feel like you owe that to them because they believed in you, that you want to do something nice for them. I imagine there's a little bit of that goes on.
Oh, you know, a song will keep you off the street and buy you a house and a car and feed you, you know, one song, basically. So the power of it is the pressure. But I don't write like I'm thinking, oh, I hope they like this song. I hope, you know, I can't write like that.
What happened with Jewel? I mean, when you saw that, a lot of people thought, well, here's an overnight success. No, she worked for a long time when she hit. Did things change for her and her music style? And do you think that it maybe is not for the best thing now that she's really doing well?
You know what? That's a good question. Because when I saw her on Monday night and she was playing a couple of her newest songs, and I think she's got a song in a Batman movie now or something, I thought that they were great, and I thought that, you know, she had remained untouched in her integrity and her writing. She was still writing what she loved.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like all of a sudden she's got a rock and roll band behind her and she's wearing, you know...
Got her in a cookie cutter now, boy.
Right. So I think that she's actually remained untouched because of it, and there's a lot of strength being, you know, her roots in Alaska, and you know, she's a very spiritual person.
Her story's really an inspiration.
Yeah, it really is.
You know, and the local artist just, it's like, right on, you know, she's one of us, and she still is. And often you lose touch with that when you do well. And from what you say, maybe she hasn't. That's great.
Yeah.
That's super. Talking with Gregory Page, who you hear at Java Joe's, and as a matter of fact, tonight he's going to be playing at the Thomas Paine Gallery, which is at Park in El Cajon, if you'd like to stop by there. It's an actual gallery setting, which would be great fun. And we're going to hear some more of his music coming up, and some more of your phone calls. If you want to talk to him, just a few minutes left, 569-TALK, or 1-800-600-KOGO, 7:45 now.
Tell myself this time for real. Don't be afraid to be alone. 'Cause she took the last train out of the station. I watched it disappear. There were no sad goodbyes for my imagination. Suddenly was clear that she took a long time before she hypnotized me with her favorite line. I heard of
Gregory Page, that's Last Train from the Romantic Adventures of Harry. Oh, that's nice. Nice stuff. Is that one of your favorites?
On the album it is.
Yeah, it's really great. Okay, let's go back to phones. From Encinitas, Matt, you're on News Radio 600 KOGO.
Hi, Gregory. I come out to see you at Java Joe's all the time, and sometimes go see a guy, J.P. Reed, on open mic nights there. And I was just wondering if you could maybe play us something to preview off your new album, or your coming album.
Ooh, there you go, and he's got his guitar right here.
Thanks, Matt. Anything specific you'd like to hear?
Maybe November Night?
November Night. Oh, that's
a tough one?
No, it's just it's a real slow, sad song.
So you could choose something else?
Okay, this is a song called Walking in the Park. We'll just do maybe the first verse and the chorus.
Okay.
Walking in the park after dark, just me and my gal. Lovers on a stroll as midnight rolls in on a gentle breeze. Swinging hand in hand is just grand. Baby, you sure are swell. Your love is like water, my heart is a wishing well. Tell me that you love me, say you'll never leave me, and I'll forever be your loving man. Souvenirs from yesteryears, they all don't mean a thing. The cuckoo clock won't tick or tock, and the wooden bird won't sing. And since you've been gone, I've found that loneliness can sting. Walking in the park after dark.
Ooh.
Kind of a
How's
bridge
that, Matt?
version.
Oh, that's great. I love that song.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks for calling. Appreciate it. Ian, we still have you on the phone? Are you there? No, we don't have him. We lost him. But I want to make sure that we know exactly where we can find Gregory Page, because this is great stuff. Your voice has got that just real smoky, compelling sort of thing that you could just sit and listen to all night.
Oh, thanks, Barbara. I'll give you the record before I leave.
Oh, that's
So you
great.
can do it tonight.
And you don't even know what your new one's going to be called yet.
No, I don't.
And it'll be out in just 3 or 4 months.
Right.
Where is the studio? Where are you recording it?
Up in Hollywood.
Are you? So you're kind of going back and forth right now?
That's what my one foot is up there, and then I go up there and I play at a club with an actor by the name of Harry Dean Stanton at a club called Jack's Sugar Shack. And been doing lots of shows up there with him, and then record and come back and hang out.
Ultimately, in the future, you'd like to put something together with a bluegrass sound, right?
Right.
That's kind of the next project?
Well, the Hatchet Brothers are kind of are that kind of old-time bluegrassy thing, but eventually I'd sure like to have the authentic, the real thing, with both Frank to his voice, but the fiddle and the banjo, and such great music, that just needs to be played here.
Well, there is certainly the word on the street is that you are destined to be great.
Oh, really? What street is that?
Absolutely. Well, certainly
University Avenue.
at Java Joe's, no question about it. But people are definitely talking, and your music is great, and you have a wonderful sound to you.
Oh, thanks for inviting me down on AM. This is my first AM show, and I hope you have me back.
Oh, I will definitely will. Now, let's talk about this again. On Thursdays, you're at Java Joe's, and you get underway at 9. Is that what time you start there? Now, tonight, you're going to have a gig down at the Thomas Paine Gallery, which is at Park in El Cajon. What time does that get underway?
Starts at about 9.
Okay.
And they're all ages, so if you're got a kid, you can bring the kid down and
Really?
just drink coffee or...
What are some of the other things that are coming up this summer that people can take part in and kind of see a lot of the San Diego music scene?
Well, at Joe's, I keep talking about Java Joe's, but they have so many great singer-songwriters down there, and he has a show on the 28th that is Cindy Lee Berryhill, Calvin Hart, Loam, C.J. Hutchins.
Everybody down there.
Yeah, and that's on the 28th. But for the summer, I don't know. I want to learn to surf this summer, and kind of want to catch up on my daytime soaps and stuff. So.
Well, after you get done with this certain album, I'm sure you need a couple of minutes to catch your breath before you move on to the next project, right?
Right.
Okay, well, we have certainly enjoyed having you here, and definitely going to have you back and come down and see you again.
Thank you, Barbara, and thanks to all the listeners out there for calling in and hanging out.
All right, and by the way, I want to pass one thing along to you here before we move on, so don't go away here, because I want to hear some more of your music, too. But there are two things I wanted to make sure that you take part in here. If you'd like to go to our advanced movie screening of Yuli's Gold, that's coming up this coming Wednesday, June 18th at 7:30. It stars Peter Fonda, Patricia Richardson. Be the sixth caller right now at 570-1-WIN, and you win a pair of tickets. So call right now. Good luck to you. And also, something else I wanted to make sure that you knew about. Samuel Warren has made a big casting call for the Rock and Roll Marathon. So what he's looking for, apparently, is entertainment celebrity doubles. And what they're going to be doing, it doesn't matter. Michael Jackson is Willie Nelson, Dolly Parton, Cher, Buddy Holly, Elvis Costello, another one that you look like, Ray. Anything in the rock and roll or any of the other kind of big in the music scene. If you were a kind of a celebrity double or you look a lot like him when you dress up, then you need to go on to this casting call. It's coming up this coming Monday, June 16th at Planet Hollywood in the downtown area. And you're asked to sign in between 3:30 and 4 on Monday at Planet Hollywood and make sure that you bring a photo of yourself and you are in character. So that's something coming up for you. And coming up next, just because Father's Day is coming up on Sunday, we're going to be talking to Mr. Moms and guys that are raising kids. Don't go away. If that's you, we want to hear from you. 757 News Radio 600 KOGO.
Friday night, I'm staying home with a bottle of Jameson and an Elvis movie on. And I hear those neighbors, they're fighting again. And I say, man, what a wonderful life. Now it's okay if I don't sleep. Tomorrow arrives, I ain't got nowhere to be. And I think about the time when I was young and free and say, man,